Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's been a while. It's just been crazy. It's super busy at work and everything, blah blah. But let's get back to what I'm going to do today. I've had a few requests. Hi to Mark, one of my new subscribers, and to a lady, Evelyn. Both joined me today, both asking me very good questions, which I love. So can't always answer them, but I'll always try. Okay, first of all, today, this is, well, it's tea time. So I'm making the supper for John and I quickly before I go on night duty. Wanted to show you what I'm doing for John. Today, always after a bargain, so I get my chicken breasts 3 for 10, so basically it's a good buy from Waitrose. Nice quality meat, you know, the farms that they come from, etc. I've got some lovely free-range beach smoked streaky bacon, which I'm going to actually wrap around the chicken breast and put in one of the pans for John's meal. Myself, tonight, I'm actually going to try some plant life. And my daughter describes as she has a vegetarian daughter herself, so they're always trying out new things. I love meat, but it doesn't always love me, and I believe I eat too much of it. So I'm very much trying to transition to cutting down my meat, and I'm trying this plant life. So she describes it as kind of like a chicken breast that's been flattened and covered in very tasty breadcrumbs. It's actually got pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds in part of the sprinkling. So I'm going to actually cook that in the other side of the Ninja. We're also, so that's our meat and our protein sorted. I'm going to have a couple of new potatoes, asparagus tips, and John is, because he practices keto, which he's kind of on and off, but he keeps his weight balanced, so it's all very good. Celeriac mash he's going to have, and again asparagus tips. So I'm going to try and be like Delia Smith and get it all together and do this for you. It'll probably be a total mess, but let's try. First of all, celeriac. This is all in bits because it was in the fridge and I need to use it up. Okay, so it's very easy. It's the ugliest vegetable, but it's absolutely delicious. I cut it into slices like this. I take the end off because that's always knobbly and peculiar. Right, so I've got my slices. That slice doesn't look very good actually, so I'm just going to take a slither off there. It's quite a hard vegetable, but it's not as hard as swede, and it cooks fairly quickly and efficiently. So I've just taken the skins off like this. Yes, I do have, if anyone gets in touch, I do have potato peelers and all these things, but do you know what? I grew up on a farm and your knife was your best friend, so there you go. Alright, there we go. So, and all we do with this, well, what I do with it, is I put it in a pan on a gentle boil. I find I put a clove of garlic in it. When it's soft, when it's cooked, drain it off. Tablespoonful of double cream, butter, salt and pepper. You've got delicious, tasty mash. And no, folks, it's because it's called celeriac. It doesn't taste of celery, because the amount of people say, oh, I hate celery, I wouldn't like it. And yet when they've tried my, well, I call it celeriac and garlic mash, they've absolutely loved it. So give it a go if you haven't tried it. And it does fit in with keto diet. So just into little cubes, nothing sophisticated here. Right, okay. And then that, as I say, that goes into the pan. This is probably going to take 15 minutes. Any bits that look a bit iffy, cut them away. And we're going to get a clove of garlic into that. And then as soon as this is on, and of course me, I'm dead easy. Just cut the shallot potatoes for me, nice and easy. Right, okay. Right, pan. Okay, just put some cold water on that. Now, garlic. There we go. If it's just for one, you don't, you know, 1 clove of garlic is more than enough. And it cooks in with it beautifully. Like I say, when you mash it down, you're not aware of it. It just gives it a lovely, lovely flavour. Ah, there we go. Okay. You don't want any of the garlic skin though in your mash. Because you're cooking it, it's just a rough breaking it down. Okay, that's going in. Some sea salt. That sounds an awful lot, guys, but it's because the grinder doesn't seem to be doing such a good job at the moment. Right, okay, let's get rid of all this mess. Just a thought, when cooking celeriac on its own, it can be quite a wet mashed potato. Now, what I do to stabilise it, and I think in recipes I've read in the past to stabilise it, I do add a little bit of real potato. When you're fully on keto, you can't do that. You've got to have, it will be a wet mash, more like a potpourri type thing. But if you want a drier mash and you can afford sort of a couple of carbs, because you are allowed on keto, you're allowed 20 grams of carbs a day, I believe it is. So, you know, you're probably looking at 2 grams with those 2 tiny little bits. What that will do is it stabilises your mashed potato. Instead of it being quite wet, it comes out as a very good mash. Just thought about that and I thought, yes, I'll tell you about that. Because a few people, when I've recommended it before and not told them about the fact that you can add a little bit of potato, they've commented that it's been quite wet. So I suddenly thought it might be a good idea to let you know that that's doable. So I thought I'll do that and let you see how it just mashes into it. It makes, like I say, you've then got to, if you are actually counting your carbs, then I would allow probably 2 or 3 out of your 20 into that. Okay, so let's put that on the back. That's ready. Let's get that to boiling. Right, I'm going to get my little kind of the easy ones. Just going to put, I don't peel them, just cut them like that. Cut off any bits you don't like. These are Charlotte potatoes. I quite like them, quite tasty potato. I prefer Jersey Royals, but at the moment they're ridiculous. Well, they're going out of season now anyway, but they're incredibly expensive as well. So let's push those out of the way a minute. Okay, on to the interesting bits now. We'll start with John's chicken, because mine I don't, you know, with mine being pre-bought, I won't be actually doing anything to it other than cooking. So right, all I've done was grotty bit of fat on it. I don't like anything on chicken breasts. Okay, I've got 2 rashers. This looks beautiful, streaky bacon, folks. It's just gorgeous. It's not too fatty. Anyway, all I do with this, and I'm sure you've all done it before, is try and get the chicken wrapped up quite nicely. So the bacon is going to sort of not only give it a lovely, lovely flavour, but it also stops your chicken drying out. You could use another rasher, but you know, it's a case of you can overdo it. That to me is perfect. Just wash my hands and then we'll get it in a pan. Okay, so we'll get this into this pan here. Oh guys, I want to share with you what one of my contributors, or one of my subscribers told me about, and I tested it and it works. He very kindly told me that when you've had burgers or steaks or anything else in there that makes a mess inside the pan, he said to fill your pan half full, put a good squirt of washing up liquid on, then close it back up, put it on roast for 5 to 10 minutes and let it get hot, that water in there. And then take it out and just wash it as normal. And yes, anything that's stuck on your pan base or on the bit that pulls out, it does work. It really actually is a nice little tip. That it cuts down that time where you're actually sponging it or using a brush on it and cleaning it. So that's a tip we're passing along from one of the guys who messaged me. Okay, let's turn this one on. So here we go. I'm going to air fry this, so air fry 200, that's great. And I'm thinking this is going to take about 20 minutes. It may take less than that, but let's go 20. And let's start that. And I'm going to put mine on in a few minutes because my pre-bought thing I think is only going to take about 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to check on the potatoes, prep up the asparagus, and then we'll have 2 meals ready to go. Fingers crossed. Okay, right, let's have a look what these actually look like. Like I say, it was my daughter recommended I try these, so let's see. Okay, well, you can tell it's pre-formed. It looks quite nice to look at. Looks quite inviting. Smells quite nice as well. Yeah, I'm only going to try. I think probably I'm going to be hungry after one, but I've got strawberries for pudding, so let's go. I'm just going to put that in there. I'm not going to do anything to it. Again, I'm going to go to air fry. Let me guess. Let me think. I'm going to go I'm going to go maybe 14. I don't think that's going to take a lot of cooking. Okay, and I'm just prepping the asparagus. So this is English asparagus, you can tell it's a little bit thick and chunky. And what I'm doing, these little bits, great if you're doing a veg stock or risotto. I'm going to keep them. I'm doing a paella tomorrow. I'm actually going to throw the offcuts, not where it gets woody, that part of it will be woody, but where it's nice and still fleshy, chop them up small and they can go in the paella. It's just another vegetable and it cuts down on the waste. You always look for the bit that's bendy and you hear that snap. If it pulls, you're woody. So if it's pulling and it won't snap, you need to go further up towards the tip. But you get as though you can, yeah, they all snap. So they're all ready to go. And those I'm going to chop up. I'm not going to waste them. I'm going to shove them into here. There we go. And that will go into our steak. Right, let's just see how John's chicken is doing. Ooh, look, that bacon's going to be, oh God, it smells too good. Right, okay. Be patient, we've got to wait. Okay, I just thought I'll show you a little tip here. Well, you probably already know, but what I'm going to do is just stick out, just burn myself actually, just try and stick that just down so it doesn't lift. It will curl because it's bacon and because it's a good bacon, it hasn't got a lot of moisture in it. It will try and curl around, but that should just about stop it. So, right, the celeriac is finished cooking, so I'm just going to add half a tablespoonful of butter. Sorry guys, I love butter, so does my husband. We're not going to compromise on that. Right, okay. My little potatoes are done. Right, okay. If I can get in the double cream, there'll be double cream in here. Right, okay. I would say about a tablespoonful. More if you want it. This may be more actually. Tablespoonful and a half. Right, okay. Good old fashioned masher. So we're just going to mash it up. You can use, I've got an electric hand whisk that actually makes it into a lovely puree if you want to do that, which I might have to. And at the cream I put in here. I'm going to leave that stand for a few minutes. I'm just going to put salt and pepper into season. Yeah, there is some salt coming out of there. Let's just stir that around. That's just going to stand there for a little bit. I'm going to throw in the asparagus into boiling water. They're only literally, don't put salt in there guys. Don't salt the water for your asparagus. They're just going to take 3 minutes. Oh, that's looking quite nice. Okay, that's got, and I will test it with a meat thermometer to make sure it's actually cooked. Let's see what mine's doing. I think I might change mine over actually. Yeah, that's looking quite good. Try and flip it over. We're going to have dinner in the garden when this lot's all ready. So because it's wasp season and lots of flies, John hates them, and I'm not particularly fond. We've got some citronella smoke bombs, so I'm going to be lighting those up at the, I'll show you those when we go into the garden. I'm going to be lighting those. It smells like Glastonbury, which I don't mind at all, being an old hippie. But it works, it actually works. It keeps the flies and everything else away, as long as you can put up with a bit of smoke coming off these bombs. I'll show you them. Just want to check and see how the cooking's going. So I always look, this is ever so cheap, £3 off Amazon, something like that. Just to check that it's cooking well. It may be cooked. So let's just, I always like to test chicken, you can't be too careful. So you can see it whizzing around up there. Okay, so it's resting about 160, which basically is telling me it's cooked. I'll show you this, guys. Hang on. Right, so I would say that is cooked. What we look for is between these zones here. So 160 comes in at 71. Anything between 5 and 63 is your danger zone when you're cooking, guys. That's important to know. So the chicken at 160 was coming in at 71. So that means it's cooked. Okay, you don't mess around with chicken things, you know, poultry. If it's not cooked properly, it must be cooked properly. Okay, so that I'm sure is done, and this says this has just stopped. Now I have no idea with this, so smells cooked. So here goes. All right, I'm going to stop that, because although that had 1 minute left to go, I'm pretty certain that everything's cooked. So I'm going to set up on a plate and join you in the garden. Now these little cones need to get to burn for a few minutes. They make. There you go. And they actually, now I'm going to do the magic. And that is what keeps them away tonight. Barefoot Chardonnay. My husband loves Chardonnay. Okay. Cheers. Let me try the wine. Very, very nice. Now I'll just give you a live verdict on what this is like. Well, it looks like chicken. Right, guys, in honesty, it looks like chicken. It doesn't taste like chicken. I'll nick some of John's over there. It's okay. It's quite edible. I will eat it. But no, it lacks the moisture of chicken. It does feel like, unlike the Beyond Meat burger that I had yesterday, which was moist and really flavoursome, this isn't. So I'm going to be trying other things, different brands, and I'll keep you up to date on how far I get with my plant life. Have a great weekend. Thanks to you all, old and new subscribers. It's great. I love keeping in touch with you all. Speak to you all soon.